Welcome to Understanding the Unhoused. My name is Joshua. Through a series of interviews with the unhoused community and those working to help the unhoused community, my intention is to increase the awareness of and empathy for this group. They are a misunderstood group, and my hope is by hearing their stories directly, hearing exactly what it's like day to day to be unhoused in this country, you will recognize the humanity in them and do whatever you can to make their lives a little easier. Before I start, I would like to send some very large props out to my girlfriend Wendy, who has encouraged me through the entire process of getting this podcast started and has helped me on my first series of interviews. Okay, enough ado. I met Nichole on an especially hot day in Concord when Wendy and I went out to hand out water and food to folks that were unable to get out of the heat. We met her while she was in the shade, gave her some water, and got to talking, and she was very friendly and talkative, and I asked her if she was okay with being interviewed. She was, so a few days later, I met up with her on a fairly busy street where she sits at a median most days with a sign asking for help of any sort, as I think we've all seen people doing. And we just sat down and chatted. She had some very interesting perspective on being unhoused in Contra Costa County. She's gone through a lot in her life, and her story, like all stories, is unique. A couple of things to know going into this interview. About halfway through, we are joined by her husband, Lonnie, who she refers to as Dad. I hope that doesn't throw anyone off when they're listening. And at the very end, a gentleman named Steve joins us briefly. Please enjoy the interview.
Hi.
So, Nichole, can you tell me the circumstances that led you to be unhoused?
Well, pretty much. I grew up in Paradise, and then there was the fire up there, and then we ended up getting blessed with like a little trailer in Shasta County. And when we moved to Shasta County, we moved off of Salt Creek Road, and there was a big Salt Creek fire up there. And where my trailer was basically overlooked the ridge, our trailer was stationary, which means like it couldn't be moved. So they had to run a hose through our windows, like in the kids' room, in one window and out the other to get to the ridge. And when they did, they told us it'll take a couple weeks for everything to dry up. But like the following summer, there started being like little black dots in the paint and stuff. And so at first I just thought, because up in the woods, it kind of, sometimes it does that, you know what I mean, from different stuff. So I painted over it, and then it said if you paint over it and it comes back within like 3 weeks, that you should test for black mold. And so I was gonna do that, except like, we lived on my SSI up there, and it was, we didn't really like to be able to give the kids what they deserve because they get really good grades. Pretty much we just lived like hand to mouth, It was like $300 they wanted because we were at a trailer park. They were like, it was more money to have it tested, I guess, or something. And we didn't really know about like the home tests and stuff like that. And so I called a place called Children and Family Services, not realizing that was CPS. I thought it was something else. Oh. And I asked them if they could help do a mold test. And they were really nice on the phone and said, of course. And then they came out and they tested and it came positive. And because I called on myself, they were like, I've had 7 open heart surgeries, so I'm like a little bit stupid like that. And they listened to what my husband said, and he's like, we didn't mean to call CPS on ourselves and da-da-da. And she's like, she was actually really nice. She said, I'll fill your gas tank and let you take the kids somewhere else so that they don't have to go in the system. So we brought them down here to Lonnie's mom and sister in the Bay, in Concord from Lakehead, which is pretty far, and when we went home, we could only stand being there probably like, I think 3 weeks altogether. Because like the longest we'd ever been without the kids was like 2 weeks during the summer. Sure. They didn't really go visit any other time. And so pretty much couldn't stand it up there. And his sister and mom said that we couldn't stay there because that we have 3 kids, and his sister has a kid, so that puts 6 in a 2-bedroom house already. And we were like, yeah. And she's like, I don't know what you guys are gonna do. At first we were staying in our car, then somebody stole it, and now we're on the streets. And I get SSI, and there's around here it's called CORE, and it's supposed to be some coordinated outreach something or other. And when you if you're in the shelter, they'll tell you, oh, if you get SSI, I can get you immediate housing. But they have a rating scale, and I don't understand that. And the rating scale, I must not do that good, because they haven't ever offered me any type of housing ever. And I even in October then almost got murdered.
Whoa.
By this guy, because my husband met a guy, and he was saying that all the white people were being mean to him, and he was a black guy, and me and my husband aren't racist, so we said he could kind of stay near us. But then he was saying weird things to me when my husband was gone. And I told him, and he was like, I never said that. You said she's schizophrenic. She's tripping like that. And I was like, okay. So when he'd be there, I'd just start asking people to come over, or I'd be leaving and going to AM, PM. And then he ended up throwing hot coffee in my face.
Oh my God.
And then Lonnie slapped him, and he did a cartwheel. And then that night he tried to kill me.
Wow.
And then I still don't even get offered housing. And I've had 7 open heart surgeries.
So yeah,
I'm schizophrenic.
Can I talk about that? 7 open heart surgeries?
They started at 3 months old.
Oh my God.
I was born with a hole in my descending aorta.
Wow.
So it was I guess a pinhole. So it wasn't really detected because, it was 1978. X-rays and stuff weren't that good. And then it ripped open when I was 3 months old, and my mom was LVN. And luckily, because she did, CPR and stuff. But, yeah, I died for, a long time.
Wow.
And then it repeated again at 3 years old because, of course, your body does a lot of growing between 3 months and 3 years. So I think with just the technology they had, it didn't, they didn't have the expanding type stuff. So they had to repeat it.
Wow.
And then in 2018... I'd gone every 3 years, since then, and it'd take a day and a half for them to do this big workup where, I had to get an MRI, I had to do a running test, all this stuff, and it always came back good. And then it was a year after my 3-year test, it was Valentine's Day, so I went in the bathroom to get all girlied up, and and I put my head down because I had a head rush. It felt weird. It was butterflies, but in my throat. Makes sense. And when you're when you're on a roller coaster, that weird feeling, but it was way high, and it was whoa. So I put my head down, and then I lifted it up, and then it was I put it down again, and I don't know why, and blood just started pouring out of my mouth. Wow. So I had aortic aneurysm the same day John Ritter did, within 5 minutes of him.
Whoa.
But he died, and I lived.
So even with your medical history and whatever the test is.
Yeah, the guy went to jail and everything.
There's still not, the shelter system is still not able to give you
housing. Well, because we're married, and we've been married for a long time. So they won't, there's only one, how would you say it, couples room. And, I'm not anti-gay rights or anything, so I don't think that, but a gay couple doesn't have to be married, and they still qualify for the same room. So, okay. You know what I mean? So pretty much it's married people and gay people, and we all only get one room in a shelter if you're a couple, which is weird. And I can't sleep without my husband. I've been with him for 22 years.
Sure.
So I've tried before, and it doesn't work because he had me go to the warming center at night one time because it was way too cold. And I sat up crying, and it bugged everyone.
So where is he right now?
He's under the overpass over there.
Oh, really? Okay. And then
no, he goes to his sister's, and he gets to see the kids and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the kids.
I don't really get to see him, but I get to see pictures and stuff from him because his sister doesn't like me. So when we asked her if they could come down here, his mom and sister said yeah. And then they told Lonnie that he had to sign something for doctor's appointments or something, or so they could switch the medical. I forget what it was. So Lonnie signed it. And then they told me I needed to sign, and I told them I'm not signing shit because I don't trust you. So then they forged my name. But because I'm schizophrenic, like, no one believes me. But it's okay because the kids are happy, but still.
So how long have you been on the streets?
We've been here. It'll be like pretty much a year within a couple days.
And what do you think the most beneficial thing you've been given while being out here?
Well, besides like everyone that courted us last Christmas, because I sit like where we are right now and I beg every day. And then I used to do like signs on our house, like if we needed blankets, I'd be like, please, Lord, send someone with a blanket, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so at Christmas, a bunch of the other people that have been homeless a really long time, but we didn't know it really. They all were like, oh, can we move by you? Because it was raining so much, you remember? Yeah, so, and we're under the overpass, and we're like, yeah, because, you know, everyone was like, all their tents were going like down the side of hills and stuff. It was bad. And then there was like the river here was like getting so high that where everyone normally camps, it was like whole camps were getting washed away. And like there was a couple people that got washed away but saved, but still that like scared everyone. And so we were like, yeah, of course. And they kind of, I don't know, like we were gonna get a bunch of stuff for Christmas, and I didn't really realize it because I'm not savvy like that. So they got pretty much all our stuff. But like the best thing I got out here so far is realizing that some people actually want to be homeless, which is sad, you know? It gave me a different understanding. Like, I used to always just think, like, oh, you know, nobody wants to be homeless, you know, and I try to kind of help everyone, but then there's some of them that actually, like, enjoy it. And to me, that's sick. But, you know, it is what it is. But, I don't know, I think like, the best way to maybe solve it is get, like, you know, and he, like, do what Chico did after the fire in Paradise.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, they basically, a farmer ended up donating like 100 acres. And it was because he wanted his daughter, which I knew his daughter, to come stay with him, and he was going to give her a trailer. And she told him, like, screw you, Dad, I'm not going to go live on your farm. And then he's like, he got mad at her, but in a good way, I guess. And he had it so that the land was supposed to be divided, because it's a huge farm in Chico, between her and her two brothers. So he gave her a third of the land. They, like, just gave it to her and said, do what you want with it. It's the farthest away from me you can be. And so she started on her own getting, like, lots of people were donating trailers and stuff to people that lost their house. So she was telling her friends they could go up there, and I guess what she got to be like 20 people or something like that, 20 different trailers. The county came in and basically tried to call her a trailer park. And there was like all this insurance stuff you have to have and stuff. And so she got like mad. And then she started talking to her dad again, because he has attorneys and stuff. And the dad said, well, why can't it just be a homeless encampment? And they said, because it's not allowed. And he said, why? And they're like, you know, because we're not allowing it. He's like, you know, basically, if it smells like crap or whatever, I'll have to deal with it, not you, because he was on the outskirts of Chico. His daughter started showing him about this place in Oregon. I don't remember the name of it, but it's like a little village that's been up and operating for 40 years now. And it's homeless people. They got donated land, and they built like those little, the pallet houses. So then her dad and a few of his friends that are like, you know, do that for a living, told him if they get the pallets in their nails, they'll help them build them. And so then they did, and then the county kind of came and took over. And which she said was good, because now because the county, like, basically she's donating her land for county use, but they take care of like all the porta potties and stuff like that. But it's like each person gets a tiny house, and the only way you can get kicked out is if you're like basically psycho. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't need to live around other people. Like, not to sound weird, if somebody's drunk, then like, you know, the people that drink can kind of get them to calm down. And the police were the main reason they didn't want to do it is the cops didn't want to have to be going back and forth. But what they didn't realize in Chico is like most of the homeless people, we don't really call the cops. Like I'm considered a cop caller because when the guy tried to stab me and I fell and hit my head on the curb, I called 911 because that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm like a snitch cop caller out here, and that's because I should have went and got like one of the other guys that have been here longer, and they would have taken care of it. And plus, I was a cop in Oakland for 20 years, so it's like I was taught, you know, if somebody tries to kill you, call 911.
I mean, yeah.
And so I guess up there it's doing really good because, you know, the homeless do kind of have their own little police type thing, like street justice it's called, which isn't always a good thing, but
sure.
But sometimes it is because there's been people, I guess, released from jail that like were following a little girl home here, and like a couple of the guys that I know, but I don't want to say any names, noticed that he's following this little girl, so they followed him to see what he was doing, and then they watched him watch her, and then he left, so they were like, okay. And then the next day he did the same thing, but he got closer to the window, and I guess they choked him out really bad, and he's kind of brain dead now. So that was because he was a child molester.
I mean...
And lots of people out here had stuff happen to him, you know. So it's kind of a good thing for certain things, but other things it's weird to me.
Sure.
You know, because like if somebody tries to kill me, you call 911. And then like the cops talk to me a lot now because I guess I'm like one of the only homeless people that talk to the cops.
Wow.
Which is, you know, and they're like, we know you have your own thing out here. I'm like, what, call 911? And they're like, no, Nikki, not you.
What advice would you give to someone who just found themselves homeless?
Pretty much be aware of your surroundings always. Don't trust anyone because like even when you think people are your friends out here, there's no honor amongst thieves anymore. Everyone steals from everyone, anything they can get their hands on. I would tell them to be really cautious, you know.
Right.
And if you're a woman and you're alone out here, that's like horrible. Because, you know, I don't know. Lots of the girls seem like when they're by themselves, they start going insane. But I think it's because, like, bad shit happens to them, you know? And I don't know. So it's like the little stupid pallet house that I keep saying, at least you have a door you shut. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Hi, Dad. Dad, what advice would you give somebody who just found themselves homeless?
It's hard.
Like, not to trust anyone or what?
I definitely can't trust no one. I just was sleeping and I woke up by the guy trying to take my bike.
Really?
I had to throw this bar on him. And then he ran into the store.
Joshua, by the way.
My name's Lonnie.
Nice to meet you, Lonnie. So, would you say it's easier to be out here with someone else?
If you're a girl.
Yeah, if you're a girl. There's a lot of guys that lost their wives already. I'm just glad that we've been together for so long.
How long have you been together?
20 years.
Wow.
No, 22 years. Keep forgetting. I'm 52 now, so.
Dad's had jobs where he got $170,000 a year. When my son was born, he was concrete pumping in Malibu and stuff. And we've had like everything and nothing together.
We've been through the highs and the lows. So. And it was bad circumstances on the highs because
we were living at his boss's house and stuff.
Yeah, and it just became.
And then his mom and sister, when I had Logan, they guilted him out and made him feel bad, and told him that they were going to work him at their company. And then they worked him one day and fired him.
Wow.
I basically went back to work down here, and it's just.
I found you a job.
She did. She found me a job, and then that went sour because the guy started making me train guys, and he didn't want to pay it as much as to leave.
Well,
paying me 35%.
The main thing Dad complained about with the guy that he worked with down here is the guy was like anal retentive, which his boss down south as long as your truck was neat and in order, and you were like, if he said give me a clamp, you could hand him a clamp, and you knew where everything was. He was fine. And the guy down here was like a weirdo. How do you say it, Dad?
He'd come to my job site.
Yeah, and he'd like rip his whole truck apart.
Yeah,
and he'd be like, this doesn't go.
I had to keep it the way he had it.
Right.
Like my system of concrete pumping was a lot different. In order for me to do things the right way, I had to have it organized my way. And he just, a few jobs doing that, making me look like a fool.
And then when I had my aortic aneurysm, Dad called him and he said he was going to stay at the hospital because they told Dad I was going to die. And I did die. I died for 53 minutes. But then they made me come back to life, and I died in Dad's arms. And then he said that he has to know if I'm going to live or die before he can work. And then the guy came to the hospital and said, either you're going to work or not. If not, give me the truck keys. So Dad gave him the truck key. And then he badmouthed Dad, like, in the whole Bay Area about concrete.
I'm sorry, can we go back to you died for 53 minutes?
Yeah, she did.
Wow.
Dr. Camelot.
Andreas Camelot.
Yeah, we were given orders to give her Lovenox shots.
No, that was when I died that long.
Well, no, you didn't die then. You got Lovenox shots. And
that's when I died the second time.
They went in, it started...
You're talking about Valentine's Day, Dad.
Oh, yeah, that was...
When I tilted my head down, blood poured out, and then I tilted my head up, and then I tilted my head down again, because every time I put it up, I felt like it was going in my lungs. So then I kept it down for a second, but I couldn't talk like this for some reason. And I thought I yelled really loud, but Dad said I barely said it. And he's like, what's wrong with you? And then, I don't know.
She walked out, and she showed me her hand, and I was like, what the hell? And then she just keeled over, and I ran over, grabbed.
Wow.
And I reached around, and I grabbed her by her gut, and she, like, pulled it over. So I drug her from the bed, or from the floor to the bed.
And that saved my life.
And it like clogged.
It made a big blood clot.
Went through. It was like there was solid blood, but it had like a stream going through just for a pint and a half of blood.
Wow. Since you guys have been out here, what has the city or county done to help you? Have you gone to any shelters?
We've gone to all of them.
And
they don't help husband and wives.
They only help you if you're on drugs or alcohol.
Yeah, you have to be really seriously drugged out.
Me and Dad, Dad kind of always smoked weed. I always did too. Nothing bad, but after my heart surgery, I was on Dilaudid morphine. That's what they had me on. And then I was timing it to where I was like, Dad, in 3 minutes I get my pill. And then Dad was like, you're probably addicted. And I was like, whatever, Dad.
I never believed in pills.
Yeah, well, Dad said, you're probably addicted. And I was like, yeah, right. And then he goes, oh, look, honey. What was it, Dad? Whose show was it? It was like, I don't remember who. Like, I want to say Jenny Jones or something. And he goes, look, honey, there's a show all about you today. And it was all about kids that do Dilaudid and morphine because their moms have prescriptions. Ah. And I was like, oh, my God. And then the one little girl.
That's Maury.
That's what it was, Maury. And then one little girl got on stage and she said, you know what, Mom? You could give me a Dilaudid or I'll go suck a dick and get one. And I said, oh, my God.
Wow.
And then Dad was like, is that what you want for our girls? And our girls were how old, Dad? Like maybe 3 months old and a little over a year and shit like that. And
well, what do you guys want to happen? What's an ideal outcome from this?
For us?
Yeah.
Is to find somewhere that has a little bit reduced stress, right? Because I get SSI, just so we can live.
She's got mental health, and that's another thing that they have. Cora was supposed to transfer us to mental health, and mental health said that they had housing like that for but
Dad.
It never happened.
Yeah,
that was months ago. 1 year ago.
Yeah.
My kids haven't left.
Yeah, you know, but there's like lots of the apartment complexes that like a reduced rent if you get SSI, and that would be like the best for us because then Dad could get a job, but he doesn't really want to get a job because
she's already been beat up. She had a stick right here, the scar right here.
Yeah, and that was on the trail. They hit me in the face.
Someone smashed her with the stick trying to rape her on the trail.
Jesus Christ.
You have to win your respect on the street.
Sure.
And it's like everyone, if you let someone take one thing, everyone takes everything. If you don't, like I try not to, but it happens all the time. All the stuff that I've had for 52 years is gone. I got a bicycle, but
I don't even have a bike because somebody stole that the other day.
I know, so
Now I have to walk.
it just sucks. All our covers are they either pee on them,
And
or
they usually just
or
take
they,
them.
Yeah, or they take them. So it's
They
like
pee on them?
Yeah, so they...
it's bad. It's almost like Oakland. You know how Oakland is. It's really bad in Oakland right now. All the tents, if you even go near a tent, they got pee and crap, and they throw that
And they
shit
throw
out.
it on it.
Feces, and it's like the cops don't even go down the streets now.
Jesus.
It's really bad up over there.
And the
Really,
cops
really
always
bad.
say they don't want it to be like Oakland.
Yeah,
Here.
they come and they say that.
But
There's one
they're-
ship that says that. All the rest of them are pretty nice. But I stay on Front Street just for the fact that we got robbed so many times, and
I don't want
if
to
I'm out on the road right over there, and we got people since we had the tent there 3 months, it was clean. And then one weekend, the flea market stopped. If the people leave their stuff at the flea market, they charge them now. So what they
That's
do
John.
is they pick up all the stuff. Yeah, they pick up all.
John,
the,
come here.
They pick up all the stuff and they put it in their van, and they go there and they dump all their crap. So I've got pictures on my phone of guys coming up, just unloading their whole truckload of crap.
Wow.
It's really bad.
John, or Steve, right? Steve, this is Josh.
Hey, Steve.
Josh, Steve. He's doing a podcast on being homeless. What advice?
Sucks.
What advice would you give to somebody who is never homeless before?
Don't be homeless. Stay on top of it,
Yeah.
Keep working.
Hi again. Thanks for listening. If you have any interest in contributing an interview with a member of the unhoused community or a community worker working with the unhoused community to get their stories and increase the awareness of and empathy for the unhoused, please visit our website at understandingtheunhoused.org. Click on the contact button and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Set something up and get things moving. I hope after listening to this episode, you will have a little more patience, a little more empathy, and a little better understanding of the unhoused.